Hello, everybody. We're out here in these budgeting streets. We're doing all the things. So I'm going to give a few moments for folks to join me. This is my regular Facebook page. This is my One Mom Facebook page. And this is YouTube. We're going to do a little basic budgeting. We're going to talk a little bit about getting your finances in order. So I'm very excited to have you. I did not schedule an event. Simply because when I schedule an event, sometimes my computer doesn't act right and it schedules it for a crazy time and it's not the time I set. So I'm like, you know what? I'm not even going to deal with it. I'm just going to go live. So please be expecting that from me sometimes. This is going to be a let's budget, have a budget committee meeting get together. So if you're joining me for tonight's get together, would you please let me know in the chat where you guys are coming from? And I'm going to be sharing, we're going to have an interactive work session tonight because in 2023, the Lord is requiring some things of us. He is requiring us to be mature. When the end of the year, last year, 22, when I was just about to get ready to do my end of the year word, I always do a teaching. Hey, ma'am, good to see everybody. I always do a teaching at the end of the year on New Year's Eve to prep us for the new year coming. And the Lord said, this is the year of maturity. He didn't say this is the year for maturity. He didn't say, Shakima, this is your year of maturity. He said 2023 would be the year of maturity. Write that down now. Somebody write that down. If you need that for yourself. Hey, everybody, I'm so glad that you're joining me. Take that word for you. If he would have said, Shakima, this is your year, that would have been my word specific to me. But he said, this is the year. So that can be for all of us if we want it. But we have to put in the work. Some of us, and I don't mean to say this where it is harmful, but some of us are not willing to work. I had a tough eating day today. I've been very diligent with my eating routine and staying on plan. I had a very tough day today and I kind of fell off the wagon a little bit. But tomorrow's a new day. Actually, my eating window is just about closed. I won't eat anything else until tomorrow morning. Um, but I'm committed to the process, even when I have bad days, right? So we've got to commit to the budgeting process, even when we have bad days, and that's okay. So if you're willing to jump in here with me tonight, I'm just going to show you a few things um, and hopefully get everybody on a good starting track, right? So, for those of you who haven't been following me very long, most of my YouTube following started following me very specifically when I was, I was in my 30s. I was a single mom. I had some kids at home. I had 3 kids at home at the time, but I was using $25 a week to feed my kids. I am a 10-month employee. I work from mid-August to the 1st of June. July, the rest of June, all of July, and the first 3 weeks of August, I am not employed. I just don't have a job. That's what the education profession will do for you. And I did not, so I don't get a paycheck in those months. June and July, I do not get a paycheck at all. And I have to budget for those months so that I'm able to pay my mortgage. I was not getting child support at that time. My ex-husband was not doing what he needed to do as far as his financial responsibilities towards the kids back then. He does what he needs to do now, but he wasn't doing it back then. So I only could manage $25 a week. That was $100 a month to feed my kids for the summer. And that's what I had. Excuse me. I didn't qualify for food stamps because they don't base your food stamps on, if you're a teacher, they don't base your food stamps on your previous month's income like they might do with other people. They take all of our income and divide it by 12, and that's what they assume my month that I don't get any money would be if I got paid for 12 months. So I didn't qualify for food stamps. It was food stamps back then. It wasn't EBT. Now it's EBT, but I didn't qualify for any of that. I lived 2.5 hours easy from my closest family. So I didn't have family I could lean on. I only had the Holy Spirit and my budget sheet. And it was like, Shakima, you got to get your life together with this budget. So here's what I tell people to do. If you're married, would you tell me in the chat, I'm married or single, whichever you are, just let me know in the chat because I want to help you kind of figure this out. And the reason I'm doing this on a Sunday, it's very strategic because I have the love dare in a little bit. But Sunday evenings seem to be reset day for most families. I'm not saying it's the reset for every family, but it's the reset day for most families, right? Sunday's your day of rest. You have church, or, if you go to church or whatever, you just chilling. Most people don't have work. So what I like to tell, especially my married couples, is set aside some time on a Sunday evening. Your kids are fed. You've done most of everything you needed to do to kind of get yourself together. And now you've got some time to focus. Thank you, Stephanie. I'm single as well. So I am what's considered a budget committee meeting of one. I meet by myself. I do ask my sister quite often to help me or look at my budget sheet just so I can get some thoughts, but it's only me. If you have multiple people that are managing your finances, if it's you and another person, then what you have to do is you have to invite that person into your financial situation, good, bad, ugly, whatever the case may be, so that everybody knows what we're dealing with. And that's what I tell people to do. We're going to have a couples meeting. I have another thing here. This is my planner. I keep my planner with me. Bring your planner, bring your computer, bring your bills, bring whatever you need to deal with for that week or those 2 weeks, however often you get paid. And let's sit down and chat. It's one of the things that we need to start doing, especially even in marriage, because I see a lot of I'm married. Okay. In marriage, we've got to open up those lines of communication so that everybody at least knows what's going on. Now, are people going to act right? Maybe not. But we're definitely not going to act right if we don't know what's going on. So let me give you Northern Ireland. Well, hey, ma'am, let me give you what's going on, and then we can make some cognizant decisions. Okay. Now, most of you know, especially my YouTube folks, in the bottom of every video I do, at the bottom in the description box, there is the budget sheet that I use. I found it on Google. I didn't steal it. It was on Google, free to use. I downloaded it. I opened it up. I see. And so I pull up this budget sheet and I use it quite regularly. Okay. Let me make sure that my light is not going to tip over. Okay. So I'm going to share my screen with you so that you're able to see this budget sheet. And this is how we want to conduct this meeting. Now, before I show you, let me say this so that we're very careful. If you're married, that person is an adult, right? You're an adult, they're an adult. You're nobody's mama. I see a lot of women in here. I didn't see any men in here, but you're not their parent. You're their spouse. So you can't say, well, you can't spend this money and you can't. That right there is going to turn the person totally off. They're not going to give you any ears at all. And they probably are going to go out and spend money that they don't have. That is just personality of people. That's how we do it. You ain't going to tell me I worked all week for all of this. And now you're going to tell me I can't spend. Oh, let me show you what I'm about to do. And we don't want any of that, right? It's already combative enough, especially when you're working with tight finances. So that's not the tone that we want to take with the person that we're sharing with. Now, I'm going to show you my budget sheet and we're going to chat through it just a little bit. If you have questions, please do throw them in the chat because I want to help you. But the second thing I want to say is this. This is your budget. These are your dollars. It's up to you to assign them jobs. Every single dollar that I have has a job. Money I haven't even made yet has jobs. Like I get my supplement in April, I already know where that money is going because it already has a predetermined job. And so I have to be due diligent. And when it comes, I have to then disperse it to the job it needs to do. So that job gets done, nothing's lacking, and nobody's sending stuff to my house talking about this is your final notice. One thing we're getting out of in 23 are final notices. You may not save a dime this month, this year, but you're going to come current on your bills. It's a time to mature in 23. Maturity looks like bills paid on time and caught up. That's what it looks like. And you have to commit to that, you and your family. Okay, I'm going to share with you my budget sheet. If I can remember how to do that, and I know how to do it, I do. Look at me. Share your screen, Shakima. Yes, I will. And you're welcome. All righty then. Okay, this is the MYMT personal budget worksheet tracking weekly expenses final version. Somebody made this up in 2004. I found it about 4 or 5 years ago, and I've been using it ever since. Okay, now, just a thought here. Everything is pretty set. This budget sheet is made into two distinct pieces. You have an income piece, which is here. This is all income sources. You then have an expenses portion that is broken down into mortgage. It's then broken down into regular payments, things you pay all the time. It's broken down into food expense, and then your personal expenses, transportation, and miscellaneous, which is considered your giving for your charitable contributions. So you have an income section and you have an expenses section. This column B61, cell B61, is your total income minus total expenses. Now, the only way to have a net profit is to make sure you have more income than expenses. You're going to have a loss if you have more expenses than income. So first of all, you have to understand what income do we have coming in. And this is where you start working this sheet. Now, what I usually do is I'll go to File. I will make a copy because I want to keep my main budget sheet clean, right? I want to just use a copy of this budget sheet. So I may call it Build a Budget Worksheet. I'm going to change this name just so I'll know. I'm going to call this number one. We're going to plan for April, right? Because March is almost over. April 2023, build a budget. This is just what I'm giving it a name, right? Okay, then I'm going to make a copy. Now, let me see. Share this tab instead. Very good. Is everybody able to see my screen now? Just want to make sure you're able to see everything and follow along. If you are, would you please that in the chat for me? Would you let me know if you're able to see what I see? Okay, perfect. Yes, this is my April sheet. I just want to make sure. So then I'm going to go ahead and close out my main budget sheet. And now I'm working on the copy that I made. One other thing to note, especially if you're using this budget sheet, is anything in yellow, any cell in yellow has a formula in it. There's already a put in formula, so you don't have to do any calculations at all. There are no calculations you have to do. All you have to do is put in the amount of income or expense that is coming in or coming out, and all of your numbers will be done for you. So now, any questions before I move? Any questions before I keep moving? Okay, perfect. All right, very good. Okay, I got 16 minutes and then I'm out of here. So we're going to move quick. All right, now, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put my month in. This is for April because I am trying to get ahead and go ahead and pre-plan and pre-budget. No problem, right? Don't wait till April comes for you to then start planning. Go ahead and plan ahead. Your mortgage is the same. Your utility bill usually comes 2 to 3 weeks early. Your water bill is the same. There's some things you can go ahead and put in. Now, these income cells may change. This could you maybe get paid every other week. So this is going to be wife paycheck number one. And then this is wife paycheck number two. So now I get to determine, or I'm seeing that those two rows are for my wife's paychecks if you're a husband. This third row, this is going to be husband paycheck number one. This is going to be husband paycheck number 2. And for some reason, hubby's going to get a third paycheck, or this could be husband bonus. He's going to get a bonus this month. So now you got all your income sources in. Now, if you need to put in more than this income, there is a way, but I'm not going to tell you how to do that because you're going to mess up your formulas. I normally don't mess stuff up. I just kind of add and combine. But you can add rows to this. You're just going to have to reconfigure your formulas, and I don't want to have to deal with that, so I don't do it. The next thing I do before I put any money in is I start going down, trying to figure out, do I have rent or a mortgage? Well, I own my home, or I'm paying my mortgage to own my home. So rent is not a thing. Electric, I call this utilities, or you can put your utilities company if you want to. Water and sewer is fine. I don't have gas. Telephone, this is usually my cell phone. Cable TV, I don't have, but I do have the internet, and this is for business purposes. I do pay it in my personal, out of my personal account, but it is for business purposes. And then household repairs and any other thing that deals with your housing. I do have my 3-month spray of the property. That's another thing that deals with my home. What else might be as a part of my living? There may be some other things. If you have empty cells, just move stuff up, leave them blank because it has a formula attached to it. So don't try to take a lot of stuff out because you don't want your formulas to go missing. Okay, perfect. Now, go ahead and like this video. Go ahead and subscribe to our channel if you haven't. If you're on Facebook, go ahead and give this some likes. Share it so that it can go out into the algorithm so other people can see how to do this. Don't keep this to yourself. Okay. Now, my regular payments. Do I have student loan debt? You might. Do you have credit cards? Well, maybe I have multiple credit cards. So this might be a Capital One credit card. I don't know. I don't have credit cards. All right, this is my MasterCard. Some of you pay health insurance. My health insurance is included in my job, so it already automatically comes out. The same with my homeowner's insurance and car insurance. I would not put that there because my homeowner's insurance is a part of my mortgage and my car insurance is going to go in the transportation section. So for me, I'm going to take that part out. But I do have a gym membership that I pay for every single month. So I'm going to put the gym in place of that. My life insurance is the same. That comes out of my paycheck, pre-tax dollars. So I don't worry about that. And I'm not going to try to go in and figure out how many pre-tax dollars that is. I'm going to make this another type of payment. Jackson has Taekwondo. So I'm going to put in Taekwondo. He takes that every single month, and that's a monthly expense. If you have childcare, this is where your childcare, you either have daycare all day or you have after school care. This could be daycare, full day, one child, right? I want to know all the things I need to know about my expenses. You might have more than one child. And then do you have any other regular payments that are coming out of your paycheck or your income every single month? That's what that is for. And those extra spaces are there for you to determine. The one thing, sorry, y'all, I'm trying to make space for the dog. She got to come lay beside mom. The one thing that you have to understand is your regular payments may look totally different than my regular payments, and only you know what they are. The other thing too is this is a good time to have your spouse chime in because maybe y'all split your bills. They pay something, you pay something. No problem. All you do then is you just go in, okay, who pays Taekwondo? Well, that's going to come out of mom's paycheck, right? That's going to come out of mom. Who pays the student loan? Well, dad was working on his MBA at whatever school, so that's going to be dad's, right? It doesn't matter who pays it because we're doing the one pot wonder. All the money goes into one pot. Now, I want to share this. Steve Harvey said this, and I thought it was a good idea. I am a one pot wonder. You can't touch my soul, and I can't share my money with you. If you're my husband and we have moments of soul touching and I'm afraid to let you touch my money, that's a problem. But Steve said what you could do is have four accounts. You have a household account, which all the money for your household for paying of your bills goes into that account. I don't care if it's 60% out of yours and 40% out of theirs, or if it's 50-50, or I don't care how you break it down. You have a household account, and the only thing that's paid out of there is bills. And you want to bump that 5 to 10% for any differentials. So whatever you normally put in, I normally put in 50%. I'm going to put in 51% this month for differentials, right? Just in case that light bill get a little crazy, because I know some of y'all in California is having some weather. The North people are having some weather. So you want to make sure that you have a little buffer for differentials. The other account that you have is a savings account. You always want to be putting something by just in case of a rainy day. I believe in the Lord. God has always taken care of me, but I still have savings accounts. I'm doing 1, 2, 3 different savings challenges this year. And I've never done a savings challenge before in my entire life. And I'm doing 3 of them this year, right? You don't have to be me. The next thing is you want to have an account. That's your spending money, your fluff money, your goodwill money. I like to go to Goodwill and Thrift. That's my money that I can use to just get my things. And then your husband will have his spend money, right? So that's 4 accounts. Every man wants to have a little something. He might see one of his buddies at the store and he can't even buy nothing. You know what I'm saying? Everybody want to have a little change in there on their personal, at least on their debit card. Work it out however you have to. You might have 4 different accounts. You spend out of your account, he spends out of his account, and then you take all that other, your savings and your household. Nobody touches that except whoever pays the bills. The other thing about that is whoever's good at it. It doesn't matter that your husband is the man of the house if he is bad with finances. Babe, you're still the man of this house. I still honor you and reverence you as the priest of our home. However, I just think that I handle the money a little bit better, or my skill is a little bit more sharpened than yours. So let me pay the bills. That way we're running on track, right? You have to word that correctly so you're not emasculating your man, and he has to word it correctly if you're not the right person to manage the finances. So that's what you got to make those decisions. Okay, in 23, we're not arguing over who's doing it. We're going to decide it's getting done. That's the maturity part. I'm not arguing with you anymore over who's going to pay the bills. Just pay the bills and we can move on, right? But it has to be done. And if we see that whoever's in charge of it is not being a good steward, then we have to have a courageous conversation and we have to say, you know what? You're not doing what you need to do. So I'm going to step in, or we need to make some changes here. Just be gentle, because people can get their feelings very hurt very quickly. And we want to make sure that that's not the case. Okay, moving on. If you have any other regular payments, I'm not sure what you have. I don't have a lot of things here because I have paid off every single bit of consumer debt that I have. I don't owe anything except my home. And every single month, the Lord has told me what to pay so that I'm paying extra towards my principal, because I'm not going to have a 30-year mortgage. If I have a 30-year mortgage, I will be in my 60s, close to 70s, trying to pay off a house, and I retire at 51. So I'm not going to have a 30-year mortgage, not if it be the will of the Lord. Okay, moving down. All right, moving down. The next thing we have are our food expenses. Groceries, this is what you spend each and every single month for groceries. Are you eating out? Are there any special birthdays, special birthday food, or eating out? Are there any potlucks coming up at church that you might need to potluck / office parties slash special holidays that you need to plan food for. This is the only food section. The only thing that goes there is food money, period. Then you move down to personal care. Personal care is for your hair and your nails. You may want to have a mani pedi. You may not have a personal care. For me, I would say this would be hair care. This would be mani pedi, clothes and shoes, dentist, doctor, chiropractor. I used to put my chiropractor here. Any prescriptions, laundry or dry cleaning, if you do those special things for your clothing, recreational travel, and then any other personal expenses that you might have. This is when you have to take the gloves off, y'all, and you got to put it all in here. I don't care how small, insignificant it may seem. If you have an Apple Music subscription, it goes on here. If you have Amazon Prime, it goes on here. If you have Hulu, it goes on here. If you have Disney Plus and ESPN and all them packages, it goes on here. Because the only way you're going to know if you have enough money coming in is to know what you have going out. And you can't trick yourself into leaving stuff off of the budget sheet. Don't do that to yourself because you're always going to run short. Make sure that you're putting everything that needs to go on there. Okay, moving forward. Next we have gas and auto expenses, right? Then you also have the bus, the train, the taxi, or you could have Uber. You could also have the fast pass. I know certain people live in cities that have the fast pass. I know for folks who live in Virginia, but they work in Maryland or in DC, some of those people have the fast pass so they can ride the lane to get, to circumvent everybody else. So if you're going between tolls, New Jersey is a toll state. Up in here, up in Charlotte, going towards Charlotte, like you're going down Highway 74, there's a toll road there. So it just depends. If that's something that you have, you put it. If you pay for monthly parking, you put it. If you live in one city, but you work out of town for a week, then you would have another extra mortgage or hotel bill that would be up at the top in your housing. And then any transportation costs there and back per week would go here. This is tires. This is oil changes. This is tune-ups, lube jobs. This is any of those types of things for your automobile. This is your yearly inspection. This is where you would put your car insurance, because everything for that transportation in my brain goes here. So I put car insurance, my taxes on my car. This is where my sticker money goes, right? I'm putting those things there. Then I move down, and then I have my miscellaneous. For me, I hate to say miscellaneous. I think I changed mine to giving, but this is church. This is gifts and charity. This is savings. If you have a savings account in your regular bank, then you have a Capital One 360. Account, that would be something different. If you're doing any savings challenges, uh, whatever you're doing, you want to make sure that you put it on this budget sheet. Once you have your sheet all filled out with your expenses, what have you, this is what it looks like. This is all of your stuff. Now you're ready to start putting in your numbers. So you've got to have these committee meetings so that you're able to see what needs to go where, when, how much am I going to be putting out, when. Even if you need to go back in up here where you have your mortgage. This is something that I do as well. You're welcome to use it or not. So where I have my mortgage, I know that that is that's paid online. That's paid online via their online payment portal. The reason I think some of these things are important, what do I have next? My utilities, that's paid via the app. Okay. Now let me tell you why that's important, especially if you have a budget of a committee of two. Thank you so much. Love you too, sis. If you have a budget committee of two, what if something happens to your spouse? They are incapacitated some type of way. They were in an accident. They cannot get to the bills. Some women don't know anything about their finances at all. I was one of those women. When my ex-husband left me, I didn't know that I had to renew my car insurance. I didn't know that I had to pay taxes on my car. I didn't know how to go get my oil changed. Those were things that he took care of. So I needed to know. But when you put these little clues and hints and things on your budget sheet, then the person that has to step in, maybe potentially to help do things in your absence, you might be on a trip that's three weeks long, and you have no reliable internet or whatever the case may be. Then the person who's going to step in and pay the bills know, okay, this goes online, this is the app. They need to even know what your passwords are and where they are. What safe location are there? Is there some type of an app that holds all of your passwords so that they can gain access not only to the money, but also to be able to pay the bills so you're not running behind if you need to. Another thing that is a very good tip, and I got to go, is to put all of your due dates for your bills on your calendar in your phone. Why? Because sometimes we forget stuff. I know that my water bill is due. This water bill is due on the 10th of every month. As much as you are able, set the person up that is with you for success. Set them up for success. Us single ladies, those of us who don't have anybody with a hand in our finances, we need to set ourselves up for success. When my ex left, I then understood that all of the bills was on me, but I had kids, jobs, daycare, diapers, asthma, hospital visits. All Jackson was just a sickly little thing. So in order for me to keep it all focused, I needed to write it all down. I could color coordinate in my calendar. I need to pay the all the bills are in green. All the family appointments are purple. Mom's appointments are red. Jackson's appointments are blue. Alana's appointments are pink. And that maybe that's not how your brain works. It's how my brain works. And so I need to make it work for me. Do what works best for you and the person or people who are attached to your finances. Don't try to emulate me, but I will tell you this. When I started doing the budget, when I started thinking different about money, my money changed and my habits with money changed. Now, I didn't have it all together for a very long time. I would do the budget, but then I would not be faithful and fidelity to the budget. I would just randomly spend. Well, I don't have time for random spending anymore. I would say over the last 2 weeks, there were some things I needed to buy, but I just been spending it. And the Lord was like, ma'am, I don't know what you got going on here, but this is not what we doing. I was like, yes, sir, get it back together, right? So sometimes you fall off the wagon. You have a bad day, you get back on, but you can't have a bad day every day, and every day can't be I'm gonna start tomorrow, because tomorrow will never come. So I gave you, according to this budget sheet, April. Go ahead and start planning your budget out a week or two before. Well, we are tomorrow will be the 20th. You have 11 days. Go ahead and plan out. You've already got notices. You already know when stuff is coming. So now you plan it out, and then you're ready to jump on it when the first comes. That's all I'm going to share with you guys tonight, because I've got to prep for another meeting. But I did want to get you guys set up with looking at your budget sheet and what it looks like. Also setting you up for those courageous conversations that you have to have with your spouse, or if you're not married, but somebody else is a part of your finances. You've got to have those conversations. This is how much we have coming in. This is how much we need to go out, and we just don't have any wiggle room. Someone commented the other day, this was on Facebook, and they said, I don't know where to start. You start little by little. You start by doing the budget. They said, oh, should I go buy the envelopes? I didn't do sinking funds or savings until 10 years after I had started doing my budget. If you feel the need to go get you some envelopes, go to the $1.25 tree store and get you a pack of them white envelopes. Put what you need on the outside, make it look pretty. Buy some stickers at the $1.25 store too if you need fancy stickers, and make it look real cute and pretty. But don't spend hundreds of dollars trying to make it cute and you can't pay the utilities. Pay the utilities. Then once you start making some headway and some traction, you can start getting a few other things. Dave Ramsey, and I know he's not somebody's favorite, but it says you have to live like no one else so that you can live like no one else. Nobody is not going out to eat. We're not going out to eat. We don't have that this week. We're not going to go buy expensive. We're going to go buy Goodwill. We're going to buy it used and save the difference. That's how we rolling this week. Now I can buy whatever I want to buy within a reason. I'll just go out spending haphazardly. I don't have a red bottom in my closet. I don't have no Christian Louis Vuittons, but if anybody want to send me a pair, I wear 8.5. But if I got to pay my money for it, oh no. I have Coach bags, Dooney and Burke bags. I have all kind of bags. I didn't buy one of them. Somebody said, the Lord told me to bless you. Thank you. But I wasn't in that position to be able to just take my money and randomly give it to other people. I needed it to work for my family. So there that is. I hope that was helpful to some of you. I plan to be back on for the Love Dare. We're day 19 and we're prepping day 20. For those of you that are joining me for that series, please, please, please do plan to be. Oh, I don't know what any of that stuff is. Okay. Do please plan to be back online with me at 8:30 because I'm not going to go past 9 tonight. I'm going to do 8:30 so that I can wind down because I have to work in the morning. So praise the Lord. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Like this video, share it, send the stars, do all the things. Touch your budget a lot. Touch your budget as much as you want your spouse to touch you. Touch it all the time, all of the time. Okay. Love you guys, and we'll see you next time. Bye now.